Hi everyone, this is Maya coming to you from another another video really quick. I'm in my car, so I need to make this quick, but I wanted to talk about things that I didn't talk about in my previous video. And so this video I'll be talking about things that I didn't get into, and also what happened when I got home, and also my plane trip, how that went, and when I arrived home, what happened. So the day of surgery, I woke up, she woke me up, and I really wasn't awake all the way. I just was still out of it. Really, I feel like the anesthesia was still on me before she put me into the wheelchair and rolled me outside. So they wake you up, and immediately they put you in a wheelchair. Your ride is waiting, so they must call them when you get out of surgery, and so that they're on their way by the time that you wake up. So my ride was outside already. They didn't have anything ready for me. They didn't have my prescriptions ready. Not they, like my ride, but Seduction did not have my prescriptions, and they did not have my BBL package. So I was sent home with nothing, no pain medications, nothing. So when I got in the car, the way I laid in the back seat, she told me to lay on my side because I had a BBL tummy tuck, so I couldn't sit on my butt and I couldn't lay on my stomach. And my friend ended up getting in the back seat, and I laid on her kind of like sideways, and that was comfortable for me. And I just kind of like had my butt hanging off the seat a little bit, but I kind of was trying to like lift myself up because I didn't trust what they were saying that I can lay on it. I didn't want to mess anything up, so I was just very uncomfortable. Now I was out of it, and if I would have thought about it, I would have just kneeled on my knees and kind of hovered the back seat. So I think that would be your best option if you're awake all the way after surgery. I wasn't, and I was thinking about the things that I was thinking about was how cold I was. I didn't have any pain though. So I got home. Thank God my boyfriend had pain medications from when he got his tooth pulled. He still had Oxy, so I used that. I had my pineapple juice, I had my arnica, I had my iron pills, and all of my vitamins that I took, my water and my Gatorade right by me. So I took all my pills that night. And I slept the way that I told you guys I was going to sleep in one of my other videos. And that was comfortable for me. So when I woke up the next day, well, by the time I got home, pretty much it was 3 o'clock in the morning. So I had my post-op at 1 p.m. the next day. And so I got dressed. I just threw on a dress, and we went to the post-op appointment. Now, mind you, I didn't have a BBL pillow to sit on, so that is exactly what I did, was knelt on my knees in the front seat. So I put my knees on the seat, and then I put my arms around this, so I was backwards. So I was facing the back window, and that's how I rode to Seduction. When I got there, I was very rushed. I felt very rushed going in. They make you take off your faja, and as soon as they took off my faja, I got very dizzy or like nauseous. So she told me to sit on my butt, and she gave me some juice and some alcohol, and that feeling quickly went away. She said it was okay for me to sit on my butt really quick, because she didn't want me to faint. So I was okay after that. So then once I was okay, she made me stand up on some she had some chuck pads on the floor, and she helped me she helped me. Well, my faja was already off, so she took off the tape that the doctor had put on surgery, and then the ab pads that he had, and she kind of took pictures of. She did take pictures of the area, and she sent them to Dr. Laura, because I guess he wasn't gonna come in, and so she went out the room, and she said Dr. Laura said everything looks good. She put back on my dressing. Well, she put on new dressings, helped me put on my faja and put on my dress, and pretty much went over what was on that paper, which was how to pretty much wash your wound, when you could take a shower. No, washing your wound wasn't on there. It was like basically when you could take a shower. I forgot what all was on there, but it was it was not that much information. So they're rushing you out of there. A lot of them speak English, but they have a heavy accent, really thick. So it's like you can't really understand what they're saying. Some of the things that they're saying, and it's hard to make out sometimes. And it's like when you're talking to them, it's like I don't think that they can understand all the way what you're saying. So yes, they speak English, but it is definitely a communication. It could be a communication for people who don't speak Spanish. And same with the doctors. The doctors spoke English, but they're Colombian, so their accents are very thick too. And they pretty much understood what I was saying, not what I was saying, what I was showing them, because the day of surgery, I told you they were rushing me too, and I like pulled out pictures like, hold up, I want to make sure you know exactly what I want and what I don't want. So I told him, like, you know, even though they spoke broken English, and I don't think that they could really understand, and they probably could, I don't know, but to me, it wasn't like speaking with someone who could speak great English. So I didn't know if they could really understand, because some things I said, they were kind of looking at me like what does that mean, you know? So so when I showed him the pictures, I was just like, this is what I want. So this is yes, I like this type of body. And I showed him about 3 pictures, and I was like, this is what I don't want. No, don't give me this. Don't give me this. So he was like, okay, I can do that. And he was like, it probably won't be like the way you want, because the girls that I showed him, they were their shape, they probably went through like 2 or 3 rounds, or they had worked out or something, and they were in better shape than me, so their results were different. So he just said he can get it as close as he can. So I said okay. So anyhow, back to okay, so dang, I lost my train of thought. I think I talked about surgery. When I got out of surgery, I think I talked about pre-op. I talked about my sleeping arrangements. So get back home. I did not have any pain, you guys. Like, I'm telling you, when I say I didn't have any pain, I had no pain. Not like nothing what I was expecting. You hear all these stories of people just like, oh my God, you're going to be in so much pain. I was in so much pain. And I have a low pain tolerance. I consider myself having a low pain tolerance. Like, if I stub my toe, it's hurting for like 3 days. So I was very surprised when I didn't have any pain. Now, I did feel sore. And when I talk about sore, it was soreness in my back. Like somebody had punched me in my back a few times while I was asleep, and I woke up and I was sore to the touch. So not just sitting there or anything. If I touched it, it was sore. Um, and I was stiff. Stiffness kicked in over the few days. I was just, every time I would wake up in the morning, I was so stiff. And it took my body a good 10 minutes of walking around to warm up. Also swelling. Had a lot of swelling. And that was one of the things that I was concerned about, was when I woke up out of surgery, and I looked down, I was I'm sorry, pre-op, when she took my, because that was the first time I seen my body, was pre-op. When she took my faja off, and I looked down and I was like, what did they do? Like, my stomach was not flat, it was bunched up, and the incision looked like it was like bubbled up, like they had this, they took the skin and made little tiny bubbles around the incision area, like balls of skin. And I was like, what the hell did they do to me? And then my stomach was bigger at the bottom still. Like, I could look down, I couldn't see my coochie. And you guys know, that is one of the things you look forward to when you're having a tummy tuck, is being able to see your cooch. And I couldn't see it. And I was like, oh my God. But I looked at my belly button, I was like, my belly button looks great. But, seduction was like, yeah, this is normal to go down. So I was like, all right. So once my massage lady came, let me tell you something. You guys get massaged by Ida. There's 3 girls. The girl that I had, she's Cuban, and she had a thicker accent, so I couldn't really get her. I couldn't understand really what she was saying as far as her name. She spoke English, but her name was different in English, as far as it was thicker. So I think she said her name was Gild or Gilda. And I should have asked her again, but she was so sweet. She's the one who got me through those 9 days out there after surgery. She told me everything that I needed to know. She told me what was normal, what was not normal. Like, she took her time with me as far as the massage goes. She got so much fluid out, you guys, those first 3 days. Like, it was the nastiest thing ever. Like, you can't imagine all the stuff that comes out of your body the first couple days. Like, so what she did, she would reopen the hole that's like in your butt crack. You have like 3 or 4 lipo holes in your back. One of them's in your butt crack. So every time she came to get massage, she would reopen that, and it didn't hurt. You don't feel anything. And that was another thing I was scared of, was the massages. Everybody was saying how bad the massages were. They were not bad for me. Like, my back was numb. Like I said, my back was sore, but when she touched it, it was sore, but it didn't hurt. Like, it wasn't painful to where I couldn't take it. The thing that happened to me the first 3 days was, every time I took off my faja to get my massages, or like I said, when I was at my post-op appointment, I got really dizzy. So the first day, when the massage lady came, she took off my faja, I got sick. I threw up all over the floor. It just came out of nowhere. And she hurried up, she gave me alcohol, she gave me pineapple juice, and she fanned me, and that feeling went away really quick. So we were able to continue. And she got so, like, when they go down your back like that, the type of massage that they do this, and then they do that and go down, and then they go down your back, and kind of like all that fluid just squirts out of you. It's like blood and fluid. It's the craziest thing ever. But it's almost, to me, it was like relieving. So, because all that swelling in your back, when they take all that fluid out, it relieves the pressure in your back. So, anyway, she was great. She helped me with my with take care of my incision the first few days. You can't take a shower the first couple days, but you can wash up and stuff like that. So she helped me with that. She made me like this back pad. It was made into a V. It was made out of a chuck pad, so it sucked up all the fluid, plus it gave me that definition of curve in my back. So every time she would come every morning, we would take it off. You could see my back curving in more and more, and I was like, ooh, I could see me having a nice little curve. And but she was funny. She was so relatable, and she talked and we laughed, and she was so knowledgeable because she had a tummy tuck as well, and she had her breast done, and plus she had been doing it for years. But she had told me like a lot of girls from all of the facilities in Miami are complaining about how rushed they feel, and she's having to give everybody information about what to do. But I am so thankful and grateful for her, and I will always recommend her. So if you call Massage by Ida, like I said, I don't remember her name. I feel so bad, but I think it was Gild. It started with something like that, Gild or Gilda, and she was Cuban, and she had blonde hair, and she was, a little cute thing. So anyway, she was just so nice. So anyway, so that was my massage. So I guess after, the second and third day, I didn't throw up, but I felt very nauseous. The third day, I felt like I was going to pass out. Like I was this close from seeing black, I think. And when she did that alcohol, gave me the pineapple juice, and they fanned me. I say they, my friend was there, and she fanned me. It went away within like 5 seconds. So the type of massage oil that she used was mixed with arnica, and she had some type of like gel, and so it was like a cooling thing. So that really helped with the pain too, and swelling. So when I was able to take a shower finally, like she told me what to do with my drains. She told me how to cover my incision, things like that. She told me a lot. I can't think of everything, but she told me everything I needed to know. And she would look at my incision every day, all of my incisions, my belly button, everything, and just make sure that everything looked okay. So she was great. So anyway, I got my last massage the 9th day because I was going home that Sunday. So Seduction wanted me to come back Friday, which would have been the 7th day from surgery. And they wanted me to come back to remove my drains. They said they could only remove my drains if I was producing less than 25 cc's in that little bubble. And another thing, Gil told me how to clean my drains, like how to milk it, because you'll get blood clots, like blood and tissue and stuff that goes through your drain tubes, and it could get stuck. So you gotta like milk the tube to where you're pushing all that down into the suction ball. And so she told me to put lotion or something on my hands before I do it. Start at the top. You hold the top so you're not pulling your drains out, and then you kind of like milk it down. Let the top go. Grab it here again. Milk it down. Let the top go. Grab it here again. Milk it down until you get all of that stuff that's in the tube into that ball, and then you empty it out, and then you squeeze that ball at the bottom, and then you put the top back on so you can still have that suction. So she told me how to do all that. But anyway, I got my drains removed on day 7. And so you go to Seduction, you go to the 2nd floor, and the nurse comes out I think there's only one nurse there, I don't know, that does a lot of the stuff. There's probably more nurses, but there's the main nurse who removes your drains. That's the one you talk to probably, and that's the one you see for pre-op. Her name was Kayla, Kayla, Kela. And so Kayla called me back after I was waiting forever. And she was taking people who came. She was taking people who came after me back there. But that's because it wasn't her fault. It was the front desk fault, because they didn't tell her that I was there to get my drains removed. So every time she would come out, she would smile and say hi to me. And then, so the last time she came out, she was like, well, I'm sorry that you were waiting. She was like, they didn't tell me that you were here for that. So I was like, it's all right. So we go back. She takes off my faja and takes off my padding and stuff like that. And she takes one drain out first. She tells you to take a deep breath and blow out as she's going. So I did that. It did not hurt. It felt weird, but it was not painful. It was a little painful, but it wasn't like painful to where you can't take it. So don't worry about that. And then other side, my stitches were kind of like stuck onto there, so she had to cut it. So she was able to pull the other side of the drain out, and it was just such a relief to have them drains out, because you can move freely without them getting in the way. And that was it for seduction. I was done after that. No more appointments. And so went home. And 2 days later, I got onto the plane. I took JetBlue, because JetBlue, let me tell you, they have so much leg room. So if you book with somebody, book with JetBlue. And so I had no problem going through the airport. I didn't need wheelchair service. You're not gonna need any of that, really. I just can't say you're not going to. I didn't need any of that, because I was walking pretty much from day one. So if you feel like by the time you're about to get home and you can't walk through the airport, then get wheelchair service. But otherwise, you don't really need it, really. So I had a backpack, and I had my BBL pillow, and I had my two girls, one 16, one 12. They stayed with me the whole 2 weeks out there. We went to the airport. Everything was fine till I got through security. Went to security. Girls went through. They were good. Me, of course, I went off, because I had my faja on. I had padding on. I had all kinds of stuff. So they patted me down, and she said she can't pass me. She was like, we can't pass you like this. So she said, I got to get 2 other female officers to come and take you to the back and make sure that you pass. So while she was waiting for the 2 females, she was like, let me test your hands too. Make sure you don't have any metals on your hands, things like that. She tested my hand. I had, and it came up positive for metals. I'm like, what the heck? But I mean, I wasn't tripping, because I knew, like, I didn't have no bomb. I didn't have no gun. You know, it was just, I don't know what it was, why it went off like that. So they wouldn't even let me remove my stuff from the belt, where it goes through security, like your bags and stuff. So I had my purse was on there, everything. So I had my girls stand by my stuff, because I didn't want anybody to take it. So once the other 2 officers came, one of them grabbed all my stuff. She went over all my stuff with the same thing that they went over my hand with. She took everything out of my bag, everything out of my purse, and then the other girl took me into, after they were done with that, both of them, one girl carried all my stuff, and then the other girl took me into the back room, and we went into the back room. They made me get undressed, because they wanted to see what was under my foams. They needed to just check me out. So I went there, took off everything, and they were like, okay, you're fine, you can go. It was a little annoying, but I understood why they were doing it. But it was a little annoying because I'm like, this is Miami. I'm sure everybody comes out here and gets surgery. You guys should be used to this. And then just to see, I mean, I really don't care what everybody else thinks, but people were looking at me like, what that girl do? She got a bomb, she trying to bring a gun on, like, you know, they were looking at me crazy. So anyway, and plus I was a little annoyed because I didn't want to miss my plane. Like, it took forever. So by the time they were done, me and the girls had to run through the airport because, like, when we were done, the plane was supposed to be boarding. So by the time we got to our gate, before we got to a gate, we noticed that it said that our plane was delayed. So we were like, thank God. So we only had to wait an extra like 45 minutes before the plane came. When the plane came, we got on the plane. JetBlue has the airplane that I took, it had 2 seats in each row, and then there's an aisle in between. So it's like this, and the aisle is in between there. So my girls were sitting over here, and then I had this seat, and then so the people in front of me, it was a wife and her husband. When they came in, they sat down, and then somebody else came and was like, I think you're in my seat. So the husband had to leave and get in his right seat, which his seat was next to me. So the person that came, I noticed that she was walking very slow, and I could hear her talking to his wife, and it's like, I'm sorry, I just got surgery, so I have to sit on this. And I was like, oh, surgery, sister. So I asked the husband, I said, you want your wife to come sit in my seat so y'all can sit by each other? He was like, oh, thank you. So his wife sat in my seat, and then I went to sit next to the girl who had surgery. And me and her, she was sitting on her BBL pillow, and she had her neck pillow, same as me. And she was telling me that she had her surgery done with Dr. Doback. I'm not sure where that's at. I've heard the name before, but she went to Dr. Doback, so she was showing me pictures of what she looked like after surgery, and I was showing her pictures of my before and after. So it was just nice sitting next to somebody who had the same surgery. Mid-flight, we both got a little uncomfortable, so we got on our knees. And we both got on our knees and put our head on the seat and like laid like that on our knees for the rest of the trip. And we slept. By the time we knew we were landing. So that plane ride from Florida to where we live was only 2.5 hours. I didn't need to really get up and walk around because I was able to stretch my feet out and stuff like that. So I didn't have to do that. Seduction did give me a clearance letter allowing me to get up every hour to walk 10 minutes on the plane. So just in case they ask, like, you need to sit down, I had that letter to show them I had surgery, I need to get up and walk. So, but I didn't have to use it. So flight home was great. When I got home, I didn't have anything to sleep on. Because I had my pregnancy pillow, I had all my pillows, had everything that I bought shipped to my boyfriend's house, and it was there. I didn't take all that back with me. Now I did buy a gravity chair, but I didn't get a chance to cut it before I left because I wanted to, I didn't know how big my butt was going to be, and with the paddings and stuff, so I didn't know how big I should cut the chair. So when I got home, I had no place to sleep. So I kind of like did the same thing on the recliner that I did on the plane. I got on my knees and like laid over, but like that only lasted for probably that night I probably got a good hour of sleep because my knees started hurting, and that was just the worst sleep night ever. So the next day I made sure that I got that gravity chair right. I went to Burlington. They had a 4-inch twin memory foam mattress. I went and bought that. So I cut a hole. I measured my butt on the gravity chair, cut a hole around that, put my memory foam on there, cut a hole there, not cut it all the way, but I just kind of cut a slit so the flaps would be hanging so my butt can still go in there. And with me doing that, it covered the bar behind the gravity chair, and it covered that the hole you make in the gravity chair, so it's not cutting you. So did that. Then I like duct taped the top, duct taped the bottom, duct taped the sides. Then the memory foam came with a sheet, and I put that over that, and I cut a hole in the sheet. And that is the most comfortablest thing ever. I've been sleeping in that. I slept in that until my boyfriend came. He came 3 days later. He had to stay in Florida because he had meetings, but he came 3 days later, and what we did was we went to Target and we got one of those inflatable rafts, and the inflatable pool rings that you use in a pool to float on. So we got one of those, and that's how I slept. I put my butt inside there, and I piled a bunch of pillows up, piled a bunch of pillows on my feet, and I slept. I was able to sleep in the bed next to him. And even though he was down here and I was way up here, so I had to touch my hand like this to him. But it was comfortable, and it did the job. I was able to sleep very well. As far as one thing I didn't talk about, you guys, was I used that heavy pain medication probably for 2 days after surgery. After that, it was nothing but Tylenol, extra strength, and Tylenol PM at night. Now I'm like 3 weeks post-op. I haven't used any pain medication probably for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, not 2 weeks. Yeah, because I'm almost 4 weeks. Tomorrow I'll be 4 weeks post-op. So yeah, I haven't used pain medication for 2 weeks. Anything. No Oxy, no Percocet, or no Tylenol. I haven't needed it. I went back to work that Monday. So my plane landed Sunday night at 11:50 something. And I had to get up and go to work at 7 o'clock. Now I drove on my BBL pillow. I still have it. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm sitting on it. But I've been driving on my BBL pillow, and it's not that bad. Nothing is that bad. I see why girls go back for second and third rounds, because if they felt like this the first time, it's a walk in the park. But I'm not going to go back for a second and third round. I'm going to try to be happy with what I have. My main goal was just to get rid of this dang stomach. The booty was extra. And that was just more to enhance my body a little bit. But I didn't want anything very big. And they actually gave me a bigger booty than I wanted. But it doesn't look bad. You know, I thought it would look bad having a bigger butt because I'm short. I didn't want to look like a Oompa Loompa or, you know, something crazy. So, but it's not that bad. I've been getting a lot more stares than I'm used to when I go out, and good stares, you know. And people coming up to me, and I'm like, nah, I got a boyfriend. But you know, it makes me feel good because I know they did a good job. I did develop a hole in my incision, which that probably started the day after I got my drains removed, or the day of when I got my drains removed. And it was not from the hole that the drains came off out of. It was like the fluid was building up in my stomach, and it wasn't coming out of my drains anymore. So it kind of like, to me, it felt like it made its own hole in my incision, and that's where all the fluid was coming out of. So it had gotten worse over the week I was home, and I could not get a hold of Seduction for nothing. Like, getting a hold of them was so hard. I kept getting hung up on. Sometimes I was on hold for 45 minutes, and then they would pick up and hang up on me. I mean, it was just a mess. So I work in healthcare. So one of the girls I work with actually works with a plastic surgeon. She was able to give him a call, and he told me to come right over so he could check it. So I went over there, and he told me that I needed to have it packed. So he had his resident pack it for me. It's just a tiny hole, and it's these packing strips. They look like cloth strips, and you know, you just cut it off. I mean, you just feed it in the hole with like a tweezers. You feed it in, and then you cut the end off, and then you bandage yourself like usual, like not with tape or anything. You never use tape on your incision. So I bought like these abdominal pads, the same ones you wake up in. You can get them on Amazon, or you can get them at any medical supply store, and they're like $5.99 for a box of 25. So I don't use Pose pads because they're not sterile. Everything I use is sterile. So when I'm cleaning my incision, so I take a shower once a day because you don't want to get it too wet. I mean, you take your shower as normal, but I wash with Dial, and I also wash with Hibiclens. And when I get out of the shower, I dry my body off without touching my incision or my belly button, and then I open up like a sterile absorbent pad, and then I tap those areas with the sterile pad, and then I use the blow dryer to uncool and dry the whole area till it's completely dry. And my incision has been healing pretty good, besides that one spot where all the fluid was coming out of. And they said it was going to take a while for it to get better anyway, but I have noticed it's starting to get better. There's less and less fluid leaking out of it. It's not infected, it doesn't stink or anything like that. The hole is getting smaller every time I feed the strips in. Now it's getting less and less, so that's good. I have a follow-up appointment with him on Friday just to see how it's going. So you know, I was blessed to be able to have a doctor who would be able to take care of that if something went wrong, because a lot of doctors don't want to touch you if it was done by another surgeon. So that's another question you need to